where am I going to find the fulfillment? Because I enjoyed
brotherhood
hanging out with
again,
the brotherhood, but also feeling like you're helping people.
Yeah.
There's fulfillment in that. And so my fulfillment had to come from a different way of impacting people through leadership and diving into John Maxwell and things like that. So it just came in a different way of building teams and serving people through that, retreats and conferences.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of The Bullpen. Today, I'm excited about this episode because this is a guy I'm just now getting to know, but what I'm getting to know about this dude is that he's accomplished some incredible things in just a short period of time and in some of the most unique ways that I've ever heard. And I don't even want to give it away too much because when you hear his story and how he's built this in a way that I don't even want to give it away. I'm actually going to pause right there because I want you to tell it. Hunter Bellew, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Bellew. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name. Thanks for coming on.
Ballew the bear.
Ballew the bear.
Jungle Book.
That's right. That's what I was thinking about. Like, wait, we're just making sure. So, Hunter, you're the founder of roofing.com. Also, people know as RoofCon, right? And then you're a huge investor in a lot of other things, right? And we were jamming before this. And your story's wild, dude. Like, at least in the fact of like how this came about, like your story, like the business, what it's become, your background, and how like that didn't even matter for you to be able to start that up, you know? So I keep saying this on the camera and everyone listening to this, I don't want to get into it because I want you to tell it. So what's your story?
Yeah, man. So small town kid, Travelers Rest, South Carolina. You heard of Travelers Rest?
No.
I know you haven't. It was a joke.
I was going to say that's by Narnia, right?
Yeah. Upstate South Carolina. Nobody's ever heard of Travelers Rest. It's a little small town. Like 4,000 or 5,000 people. It was even smaller when I was coming up, right? So I went to high school there, all the way through school. When 9/11 happened, I was in 5th grade. I knew I wanted to join the Marine Corps.
Okay.
I knew that I wasn't going to be a college guy. I was just not digging the school thing, man. I was like 189 of 212 when I graduated. I'm always proud of that, man.
Yeah.
Like there is a way.
Yeah.
So went to the Marine Corps Reserve, did that thing for 6 years.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
Yeah, appreciate that. Didn't really do anything. A lot of better guys out there that did stuff.
Oh.
I didn't really get to do much cool stuff. But a year basically full-time with training and stuff like that. Once I got in with that, those next 5 years while I was kind of in the reserves and laid back doing the once a month thing, I went to the fire department for 5 years full time. Yeah. And that was a great experience. You know, you get so much, dude, just life perspective and like grow up fast. Yeah. You've got so many leaders within the fire department that are a lot older than you. They've been there for so long. They've got that time in and they've seen a lot of stuff. Yeah. You know, you see a lot of stuff.
I mean, 5 years is a pretty long time and you know, it's not like something I guess people really want to dive into, but I'm sure you saw a lot of stuff. I know they did, but I'm sure you did too.
Yeah,
right?
man. I mean, you know, people, I guess people don't really think about firefighters running as many medical calls or, you know, you see firefighters at wrecks and stuff, vehicle accidents. Yeah. But I guess most people probably don't think of them as being like the first on scene, but usually you are. You know, EMS is coming from far away. You're the local fire department. You're going to get there first, and you see a lot, you know, death and bad wrecks. And so medical incidents, car crashes, fire, all the stuff. And so it kind of forces you to either grow up fast or move on, man. So super thankful for my 5 years at the fire department. Great leaders that helped me to develop and figure out how to lead. And it's like, dude, when you're put in those situations, you roll to a wreck and there's 3 cars and people are hurt. Like, dude, you got to triage. You got to figure it out. You got to be able to handle the pressure. Yeah. And like, honestly, that was in a sick way. Like, the wrecks were my favorite part.
Yeah,
you know, obviously not the people getting hurt, but just the pressure. You know, you pull up at a red light at an intersection in the middle of the city, and everybody is stopped looking at you. Right. It's like you got to perform, dude. Yeah. You know, playing football, right? Bro? It's like the bright lights are on. Yeah. You either do or you don't.
I want to compare playing football to saving people's lives, dog.
A lot more people.
I was getting my head wrecked on purpose, you know. But it's crazy. People don't think about like. Because I talk about pressure on this podcast all the time. Pressure as an entrepreneur, pressure in life. Life is pressure, right? Yeah. But we're talking about pressure of people's lives are literally at stake if you don't perform, you know? Like if you don't do your job, if you just want to take it easy, someone's life is on the line for that, So that's a different kind of pressure.
It's sad too, man. There's so many firefighters. I've actually never. I try to every podcast I do because I'm on a pretty good bit of them. I try to like bring out something I've never talked about before. This is something I've never really talked about before on a podcast. I don't think really going deep into the fire department thing at all. And then this is like, dude, it's really sad. Like a lot of the guys that I work with and I know around the nation deal with like deep depression from seeing the stuff they see, and
maybe
like
PTSD.
You end up having a lot of guys commit suicide. We just had a local guy 2 years ago commit suicide at a fire department I was at.
Do you think that's more, and I don't want to take you off your tangent there, but do you think that's more because of they don't know how to cope with it afterward, or is it like literally just the pressure gets, like
I think it's
just not know how to cope.
Like you don't want to. A lot of times you don't want to take that stuff home. You don't want to open up to the wife about it. You don't want to put the pressure on them. As the alpha male, as the lion, like you feel like you got to bear all the weight. And maybe also like sometimes we don't do a good job at the fire department level. Not that it's the chief's fault or anyone's fault. Just we're not there yet as a society that we don't do a good enough job of providing resources. And so, I think
deeply underpaid. Underfunded. Everything.
Bro, I started at like $24,000.
Oh my.
Yeah, maybe
24,000.
24,000. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
There's people. Jimmy Rex, when he put out the title of my podcast, was like 24 grand a day, or 24 grand a year to 24 grand a day. Like that's the big shift, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's just it is sad to see and seeing more resources. But at the end of the day, man, I think what stuck for me from the Marine Corps, playing sports, being young, and the fire department is like that brotherhood, that community. Like I love community. And so that continued to roll over as I started a business. I started growing a business and being able to recruit as we started the conference and getting, from a couple dozen people coming to hundreds of people to thousands of people.
Yeah, you have like 3,000 people attend your conference now.
Yeah, man, it's been just awesome. So, but at the core, it is that community, man. Like I was used to spending 24 hours at the fire department with 8, 12 other guys. Yeah. Like that was my life. Literally, I'd spend 24 hours there and then go home for 48 hours. And so when I left the fire department, dude, it was like, where am I going to find the fulfillment? Because I enjoyed hanging out with the brotherhood, but also feeling like you're helping people. Yeah. There's fulfillment in that. And so my fulfillment had to come from a different way of impacting people through leadership and diving into John Maxwell and things like that. So it just came in a different way of building teams and serving people through that and retreats and conferences.
Yeah. Okay. So you go from firefighting, then how did that lead into roofing.com, RoofCon? And for those who don't know, it's a big deal. Like we're talking like 3,000 people attend this event, but that's just the event. What you've built for your business in roofing, and how that's come about. Like how did that transition come about? Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's a a lot of stuff in between that, right? So I get married summer of 2015. I'm pretty ready to make the jump out of the fire department. Like I know, man, hey, I got to go chase these dreams. Like, I'm already hustling on the side. I had started a moving company. I was buying and selling anything you could imagine, bro. Like I lived on Craigslist. You know what Craigslist is? Like, dude, old school. Like they ain't changed their interface.
Creepy as hell.
But dude, like me and my wife would be eating a steak dinner somewhere, and I'd be like, "Hey, babe, there's a boat. We got to leave right now." And she's like, "Right now?" I'm like, "Yeah, pack up your stuff. We got to go get out." I already told the guy we're on the way.
Oh my god!
And so, we'd be on the way to go buy a boat. Flip it the next day, and make $2,000. But it's like when I got that first taste, I was like 18, 19 years old at the fire department in the Marine Corps, making $700. I think it was like $709 every 2 weeks is when I made the fire department. Yeah, when I started.
Well, dude, you think about it. You could flip a boat, in like 2 days and make $2,000. That's what you made in a whole month doing the fire department, and a lot less pressure doing that.
Yes, like dude, when I had that first hit, it was like, whoa, there's a better way.
Yes.
And I'm one of those guys. Like once I have the realization and I see someone else do it or I do it for myself, I'm like, all right, we got to go there. Yeah, we got to go there. There's no reason I can't do it too.
Right.
So yeah, man, like I just knew that I wanted to step out of the fire department. So December 22nd of 2015 was the last day of the fire department. Stepped into marketing, just started learning marketing, which is funny, man, because I kind of align more with like the blue collar world than I do the white collar. Yeah. And so marketing for me was, dude, I remember I had a freaking white Rubbermaid table. It was like trashy. I don't even remember where I got it from. I guess I got it from a yard sale, but it had like melted spots all on it and like stains. And I'm just like scribbling on it, like hating the world. It was like June 30th of 2016 when I decided to focus mainly on like SEO and ads and all that stuff.
Right.
And so when I did that, man, I dove in. We picked up clients in like the gym space, cafe, painters, and then roofers and some other stuff. But when I found the roofing industry, I realized they're pretty high ticket. You know, they're selling roofs for 10, 12, 15, 20 grand.
Right.
And so it was pretty easy for them to pay me my retainer.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what, let's rebrand the company. So we rebranded and just focused on roofing specifically.
Just went straight there.
Straight roofing.
Yeah.
And through that, man, I not long into it, I was like, you know what, I'm going to start a company myself. And dude, when I think people probably think I joke about this, but I'm dead serious. Like, dude, I didn't know anything about roofing.
That's okay. You told me that's what I wanted to get to. I kept wanting to say that before I introduced you, but I just like, you started a roofing company and you're known for roofing company, what you've built, and you still don't know anything about roofing.
Man. Like, you know, obviously you pick some things up if you build a big roofing company, but like I jokingly,
nail gun and
But I tell people all the time, like seriously, like I still really don't know that much about roofing. Like people come to our retreats, like we do these free retreats almost every single month. We have like member retreats for our members, and we do paid retreat or free retreats.
Yeah, right.
So like people literally come into the retreat. I pay for lodging. I pay for food. Everyone's like, oh, there's got to be some catch. You know, there's got to be some catch. You can be selling us the whole time. Like, nah, man, we literally just want to put out goodwill in the industry.
Yeah.
We've slowly pivoted from just roofers to now we have business owners from all over the every industry and all over the country come in. And so at those retreats, people are like, oh, you know, he's going to be talking about roofing. Dude, we don't talk about roofing at all. Like, it's day one is self-worth, like building the better man, the better leader, the better husband, the better father. And then day two is the core of business. Like, how do you build out a team? How do you set them up for success? You know, your operating system, what do you use in recruiting, the funnels, all of that stuff. Not roofing. How do you just build a business? Because I didn't know anything about roofing. It was just hiring the right people that knew roofing.
Well, dude, that's what's funny is people think about entrepreneurship and the first thing they think of is a product. Right? They focus solely on the product. And like I had someone on here, I don't know if you know Jason Harward, right? He says this over and over and over again. He says the product doesn't matter. He says the systems matter. You can replace the product with whatever the hell you want. If you can build teams, if you can build systems, if you understand business, the product doesn't matter. There's people out there making money selling potatoes, right? Selling rocks. Like pick a product, you know, someone's flipping couches making millions, right? Someone's doing roofing, another guy's doing insurance, another guy's doing, you know, like health. People are making money with football and high school football teams and marketing. That's like the crazy stuff. The product doesn't matter. It's the system. Sorry, keep going. But I love what you're saying there.
You're dead on, man. Like you look at just even Amazon. Like you go on Amazon and search different products. Like it could be the crappiest product made in China compared to a nice American-made product. But if their marketing is better, they win. If they position themselves, they win. If they show up over and over. Dude, I tell people this all the time about courses. Like for one, I am a believer that like there's probably almost no course out there that you can't at least get your money back if you implement what's in there.
1000%.
Even if they're a crappy person, like low integrity person. But secondly, like there's plenty of low integrity people that just keep showing up. And either people are going to keep coming back to them because they just believe they're real, or they're going to get new people that are just introduced to them because they keep showing up. So if you're a high integrity person that has a good product, don't complain about them. Don't focus on them. One of my favorite quotes is winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So just focus on winning. Don't focus on everyone else. So yeah, man, like for us, it was roofing. We dove in. We built that thing for a couple years, built out a big team, grew different locations, super blessed. And then we sold that to a public company out of California. And through the process of building Cornerstone, you know, we started getting some attention in the industry because we were growing pretty fast, doing some cool things. And I had already had a mastermind and a small conference just for men entrepreneurs. And I had a speaker come that was from the roofing industry to one of our events in Greenville, really small event, like 40, 50 people there. But after the event, the guy was like, dude, we need this for the roofing industry. Like we need something that's not just focused on money, but focused on leadership and legacy. And so, dude, I'm a mover. Like if I set my mind to something, I'm gonna do it fast. Like I'm not a, hey, let's do this event a year from now. Like, hey, how fast can we get the venue book and plan it and get people there? Maybe not the best idea with an event. You're figuring that out.
Can I be completely honest? That is exactly what I did. I was like, let's get this event done, like plan it out.
You're doing way better than I did.
No, dude, like I threw that together and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude. It's a lot. And I didn't have a team really to figure it out. So I throw it together. It's like sub 90 days. I'm hoping to get like 100 people there. I think we got, I said 60 for a long time. And then someone sent me a picture this year after I said that on stage. And it was like
less than that,
30 people there. I think we had at least 50. I planned it. This was a horrible mistake too. If you do events, think of this. But you're doing yours Q1. Mine are always Q4. Football, college football.
Right.
Alabama and LSU were playing on the Saturday. And everybody's like, I'm going to the bar to watch the game during one of the keynotes.
Right.
Or a couple of the keynotes. So we throw the event, man, and there's like, let's just say 60 people there.
Right.
I'm pretty bummed. Like, I'm pretty down.
Yeah.
One of my good buddies kind of sees me and he's like, what's up? And I'm like, man, I'm just failure. I got all these guys to come in, like high level speakers in the industry to come in. I'm like apologizing to them, like, man, I thought we were gonna have more people. And they're all like, dude, pat me on the back, like, dude, this is the best conference we've been to. Like it's small, it's intimate, there's relationship building, and more importantly, like the content is real. It's leadership, it's legacy, it's how do we develop as human beings. And so and at that point with roofing, like we opened up to men and women, and it was commercial, it was residential, it was if solar people wanted to come in, other contractors came in too. We had like some HVAC people. And so initially it was like, maybe we don't do this again. But when we left, like if there were 60 there, 58 of them were posting on social, like, hey, this is the best conference I've been to. So we're like, all right, let's do it. So I hired a couple of people full time for the next year. The next year grew to 881. That's awesome. For Houston 2020. That was in the middle of COVID. Like it was rough, bro. Rough. I don't know if I should say this, what your followers are, but like mask patrol was like on high. And we're like, bro, we're just not wearing masks. Like we had to tell them we were to get the venue, And so they sent me a bill after the fact, like, hey, you owe for this mask patrol. We had to bring in extra trips. I'm like, bro, cancel the credit card. I'm not paying. So did that 881 next year, which is 2021, early 2021.
You said 881?
881.
Wow, okay.
And like when I say these numbers, those are like registered in the platform. To be honest, like 3,000, we had 2936 is what we rolled to last year. It's hard to tell, man.
Sure,
like I like being super real and authentic. I don't know if the 2936 actually showed up. That many people got tickets. I think we were probably 2,000 to 2,500.
That's still awesome.
I know. I just like being super real.
Sure.
And then next year, our hope is 5,000. We'd like to hit 5,000. So I think we can do it. We got a ton of traction right now.
That's awesome.
One thing we do a little different too is we have sponsors. So year one we had 10. Year two we had 50. This year we had 125.
Wow.
And next year we're aiming for 200 to maybe 250.
Jeez almighty.
But that's a game changer, man. Having the expo and having like people there that the entrepreneurs can go and hang out with. But dude, we've just had so much fun, and there's been so much momentum year over year. Just like people saying this event's been life changing. Like I came here to learn how to grow my roofing business, but I left a better person, a better leader, and that is what changes your business at its core. So man, early 2021 we rebranded. We bought roofing.com, scooped that up. It was like a little forum. This guy had like a forum from like 1996. It was still active. People posted like every 3 weeks. And so I'd been after this dude forever, and I had to pay a GoDaddy rep like $60,000 to go and actually get in touch with the dude and negotiate with him. And so we got that. That was pretty cool. And from there, man, just continue to launch offers and provide value to the industry through RoofCon, the conference. Revolt is our mastermind. And again, we've started to let other people inside of that. We got into the NFT space. That was super cool, man.
Craziness.
We launched a small collection of like lifetime tickets for RoofCon just to kind of educate the industry on, hey, this is how you set up accounts with MetaMask and Coinbase and OpenSea. And so we've got a huge project coming really, really soon, like maybe the end of this month, January of 2022, that I think not only could change, it will change our industry, might change a lot of industries the way that we're going to play. And I kind of shared a little bit of that with you prior to, but I'm not going to drop too many details. I'm going to surprise some people with that.
Yeah. We'll have to get everyone signing an NDA if they listen. Okay, so this is super interesting, right? So you build out this mega conference of roofing, and obviously, not just about roofing, but like it's like that's the name, right? But it's for the roofing industry to help them become leaders, right? To help them become, leave their legacy, talk about who they can be, and like the development side of it, right? And you've had people, correct me if I'm wrong, like John Maxwell speak, and even Ed Milet, if I'm correct, right? So big name speakers coming in, but this is why it's so fascinating to me, because I don't know of like an oil con. Right.
Yeah,
I don't know of like a trucking con, or I don't know of like any of these expos, really that focus on leadership when it comes to blue collar.
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm just naive to it. I do not know of like construction con where they bring in John Maxwell, or they talk about leadership, or like being a family man, or being a father or mother, or whatever it is. Right. And that's why I'm so intrigued by this. Cause like you said, I said this before, sounds like you've heard it before. I'm like, you brought the white collar, side of things, the marketing and all that into the blue collar, and you are definitely blue collar, but like, or like, I'm like, it's like so fascinating because it's this blend that I like.
Well, dude,
who thought of that?
I think that's why we got so much momentum.
Yeah.
It's like because it was just different. Like every other conference is like money, 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 money. The parties are like, let's go out and get drunk and bring some strippers in, and we're like, nah, that's just not our MO. That's fine. There's if that's what you want to do, no hate. Yeah. But that's just not going to be us.
Well, like construction con doing that, or
I ain't gonna drop no names. If they know, they know. But,
they know.
Yeah. But yeah, man, ours is like, let's bring in high integrity people. And like for me, a lot of people ask us, and like one of my biggest competitors is like, bid online, like, oh, they just push faith and da 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 da. And I'm like, bro, we don't push faith. Like I'm a person of faith, but I never push that on anyone. Yeah. Like John Maxwell and Craig Gershell are two of my favorite leaders because they've both been pastors. Craig Gershell's still a pastor. He's the biggest church in America, Life Church, Craig Gershell. He has one of the biggest apps in the world with like 500 million people that have downloaded it, the Bible app, if you've heard of the Bible app.
Actually,
yeah, dude, it's huge. And so like when he came in as a speaker because he talks about leadership. Like he never pushes his faith. And I respect him so much for that. Right. And to the point where my team originally, when we paid for Craig to come out, like they wrote up the images like Pastor Craig Guestio, and I was like, no, take pastor off. Like it's not about that. We're not talking about faith or anything. Yeah, we never push that on anyone. It's just leadership, and we attract who we attract. It's we don't sweat it.
Right.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Like when you're in alignment, in a full alignment with who you are, like if people don't like the messaging, they're not going to come back, and that's okay. They'll go find their tribe. Yeah. But the people that we love and we care about, not that we don't care about those people.
No, you're right. Yeah.
But they're going to continue to come back, and they're going to tell their friends who align with our message as well. It's awesome.
So, I mean, what you're saying, like, obviously, you understand like what I'm, experiencing with AlphaCon, right? Yeah. And it's funny because obviously that's a big topic right now, conversation in some interesting ways. And if I'm completely honest, like once I launched AlphaCon, right? AlphaCon's a business conference, right? But it's a conference on how you can be the best. Like literally, the idea of alpha influence is that you can be the person who can actually be a leader in this country, who can make a difference in the world. Whether that's through your money, whether that's through who you are, be great or be nothing is the thing you see out there. That's the message, right? That's what we want people to do. That's what this country needs. We need more leaders and entrepreneurs to actually stand up and be willing to be an alpha. And that's what's so funny. Right. Not alpha as in like what the world wants to portray as like the bully almost, right? Yeah. Like this toxic masculinity thing. In my opinion, the real alpha is a protector, right? Yeah. The real alpha is a warrior for a cause, right? If you choose a bad cause or a good cause, that's up to you. But that is what an alpha is to me, man or woman, right? Doesn't matter. Yeah. That's what it means. We need more of that. The fact that that's so like people are so offended by the word alpha shows you that we need more alphas. Like we need more people to be willing to stand up in that leadership position, not be ashamed of saying, I will take on that mantle of alpha, right? But the whole idea of AlphaCon is I want to help people blow up their businesses in 2022, help them, scale up, all this stuff. And that was how it was going about. And then it blew up like this, right? Yeah. Just the woke mob hating it, right? All these things. They're calling Grand America. And I'm so grateful for a lot of my friends, a lot of these speakers.
They're calling Grand America?
Oh, they're calling Grand America trying to get us canceled. They literally told us they had like over 100 emails and saying yeah, dude, they said I employed some guy out in Colorado who went on a murder spree, that he was my employee. Like just they come up with whatever they can to try and cancel. You know, they'll lie through their teeth about this shit.
I told you when I walked in and we started this conversation pre-podcast, like, dude, I almost think it's a good thing. You know, you're gonna get a lot of attention from it.
Tons.
And the right people are gonna come. The wrong people are gonna be, you know.
That's exactly
deterred, dude. And it's almost a good thing. You're getting a ton of free.
Yeah. Oh, tons. Oh my gosh.
No free advertising.
There's no doubt.
You know, the quote of like, hey man, you know, if you're worried about what people are saying, like it's going to limit you from reaching your full potential. Yeah. Right. I certainly wouldn't worry about it at all. Right. When the word warrior, you said warrior, like warrior and leader, man, those words to me, like when I think alpha, that's what I think. It's like, dude, I'm relentless. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make an impact on this world and to leave a legacy that I'm proud of.
Right.
Like those things matter so much to me. I talk about legacy focused leadership. That's kind of my thing that I embody. Like you got to be thinking about the decision you make today for your team, for your company, for your community, for your family.
Yeah.
Who does it affect 100 years from now?
Yes.
And so are you making those decisions? Like, is it with legacy in mind? Are you leading with legacy in mind? So yeah, man, I love it. Dude, and that's just life, bro. Like it sucks. And this is another thing I've never really talked about. And I talked to my team last night. They're here helping out with Door-to-Door Con, Sam Taggart's event.
Shout out to Sam. Love what he's doing over there. Yeah,
my man. And you were talking about not having many industry events. There's actually one called SolarCon. You know Jake Hess?
No, I don't know.
He has a Solar Academy. He's got a conference dropping called SolarCon in April. Yeah. And that'll be in Salt Lake City at Salt Palace too. Cool. So it should be a pretty good time. I'm gonna come out and speak at that one.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. It's just like I think the more that you do, whether you're good or bad. Yeah. You know, I like to think that I'm a pretty high integrity guy. Sure, like I put out a lot of goodwill. Like just to be honest, like, and not to say this with arrogance, but like, I don't have to do it anymore. Like I don't have to work anymore. I think you're in a position where you don't have to work anymore. Like you get to a point where you're worth like 10 million plus. Like, dude, you don't have to do it anymore. You can chill. You can put your money in some kind of account.
That's literally in my definition, 10 million plus is like, fuck you money. Yeah. It's like, dude, if you just stick it in there and it just grows at whatever interest or whatever it is, it's paying you
10%, and we can make way more than 10%.
Exactly. But like, you don't have to. Right. You don't have to do it.
You don't have to. So like, if you're continuing to go, I feel like it's either for one of two reasons, because you really do care about your legacy. Or you're an egomaniac. And that's very possible. And there's plenty of people who are egomaniacs and they're just doing it for their ego. I certainly align with it's my legacy. Like I got to keep going. I'm sacrificing. I'm missing time with my little boy right now. Like it's super rare. Probably like 2 times a year where there's a trip where like, I do not want to go. Like, and this was one of those trips, man. Like, like to the point where I'm like almost going to text Sam, like, bro, do you care if one of my guys fills in? Like, just didn't want to go, man. Want to be there with my little man. And just made the trip anyways. It's like, dude, I committed to it for one. I told him I'd be there. Right. 2, like, if I mean the things that I say about my legacy, I got to be willing to sacrifice. Yeah. And the more that you do good, man, like the more people are going to hate on you and try to smear your reputation. Like at this point, bro, I've had 3-4 lawsuits, like just dumb stuff that you got to fight for. And people are going to freaking try to, you know, either take your money or you're going to have to spend your money fighting them. Yeah. And it's like, dude, it's just, it's such a pain in the butt to try to protect what you have when people try to take that and smear your reputation.
Well, dude, what's funny is I didn't think roofing or like what you're talking about, leadership, legacy, I didn't think this was such a polarizing thing, even though polarizing messages is the most important way to market because it's a magnet for your good audience and it's a repel. Like I think magnet's the best word because a magnet will repel the negative and bring in the positive. Right?
That's great.
So it's magnetic, polarizing marketing, right? But I didn't think RoofCon or roofing or like talking about legacy or talking about faith was so polarizing that you would have that kind of issue, right? I mean,
I think it's maybe just the people that don't align just want to put us down to put themselves on a pedestal. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's in every business. That's when I had the construction company. That's with roofing.com. Like we got people saying, oh, you're taking trade secrets and da-da-da. Like, dude, it gets wild, man. Yeah. But it is what it is. Like, you just got to fight the good fight and know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. One of my buddies, Nick Alfano, he has a mastermind called The Program out of Nashville. I was just seeing him. I came from there straight to here. And he always talks about living in your truth. Yeah. Like, you know what you say. You know how you live. You know your truth. Yeah. Everyone else can say what they want. At the end of the day, you know your truth. Yeah. John Maxwell says his true definition of success is the people who know him the best love and respect him the most. Not everyone that knows him, the people who know him the best. They truly know him. The people who are close to him, his family, the people who have worked with him for 20 years. There's going to be people that come and go. They work with you for 5 years, and then they leave and talk about you and lie about you and spread rumors about you.
Yes, right.
They don't really know your true character, apparently. So those two things to me, man, have been big and helped me as I continue to grow, and you have more and more haters come along.
Yeah. Well, you talk about John Maxwell and all these pastors. Someone who I love. I love to listen to is Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Bringing him in, bro, next year.
Well, actually, you know what? That is a great idea. You just gave me one of the best ideas I've ever heard. Because yes, absolutely, I should, dude. Have him speak. That and just the way he speaks and what he talks about, I love it, man. It just gets me like so excited about life. Just listen to that dude. But the one thing that he said that has hit, it's always hit hard with me, but it's hit harder than any other time, especially now, is that success breeds contempt. That is the best way I've ever heard to put it. Because, they say, oh, people like to throw rocks at shiny objects, or things that shine, and that's more of a Taylor Swift kind of way of putting it, But like, to me, I'm like,
don't hate on Taylor, bro.
She
kind of went downhill.
She went off hill.
When I was in high school, man, she was.
I wasn't even born then. No,
Get out of here, bro. I ain't that old.
But dude, like, that's what I'm sitting here thinking of, like, what is it about success that makes people hate so much? Like, what is it about even just remotely trying to make waves and trying to actually do something that will bring people after you in the most ruthless ways, right?
Dude, man, it's like, you hear Gary Vee, and I don't really listen to him as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I used to listen to him a good bit, and he talks about empathy. It's like, it's just insecurities for those people.
Yeah.
And it's hard in the moment to really have that perspective and think like, man, I feel bad for them. But it typically is like, if you look at it, like, feel bad for them.
Yeah.
And like, that doesn't mean
it's hard to feel bad when they're DMing your wife, and like saying some of the, you're like, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell did you, like, but then he's like, 3 states away, and who the hell is this guy? Right. Might even just be a mock account or whatever you call those, And that, like, you're right about Gary Vee. It's hard to listen to him because he puts out 20 things a day. Yeah. So if you're listening to Gary Vee, you really have nothing going on in your life because you're just listening. But dude, so what's the next move for you? Where are you heading with all this?
Yeah, man. So we do a challenge called Fearless 44. You should check it out. Anyone listening should check it out. It's a free challenge called Fearless 44. You just type in fearless44.com.
Okay, fearless44.com. We'll make sure we link all that.
Yeah. And I've been doing that this is the 4th year now. I'm actually in it now. It's like 8 daily tasks that you do. And the sheet that I created is just an exercise we called Fulfillment 50. And you write down 10 things for each of the 5. So basically you write out your 10 blessings, you write out your 10 reasons why you do what you do, your 10 targets that you're trying to hit with deadlines. Then you write your 10 consequences if you don't hit those. Like, what happens if you don't hit those? If you don't give $100,000 to the charity of your choice this year, who suffers? And that way it brings some pain when you think about not working that extra hour or working on Saturday or whatever. And then lastly, it's 10 excuses. One of my targets that I wrote down, one of the most important for me, is to move into, an investor and advisor role over being a CEO. Like, I've been in that grind for years now, and I love startup mode, man. Like, I heard a guy, I think maybe
a lot of entrepreneurs are like that.
Oh, dude, for sure. I think it was Reid Hoffman and Blitzscaling. Have you read Blitzscaling?
I have not, no.
Dude, one of the best books ever. I saw you got some great books. You got to read Blitzscaling. Okay. One of the best ever, especially for your business model. Yeah. If you haven't read it, read it. But he talks about there being 3 different types of entrepreneurs, and it really relates to the military. So you have your Marines that are going to storm the beach. Yeah. That's what they're good for. They love chaos. Like, they know some of them are going to be taken out, but they love chaos. Right. You have the Army that once the beach is taken, they're going to go into the city and they're going to take the city. So you have your Army. They kind of take the city. Then you have your police that come in and they're going to stabilize the city. Yeah. They're going to be there long term. They're the ones, they're living by systems and processes. The Marines don't care anything about systems and processes. They're like, let's just go. And then you got your Army, and they're starting to build in systems and processes and stabilize for the police to take over. Dude, it's the same thing with entrepreneurs. Yeah. It was a big shift for me when I read that book because, it was about 2-3 years into my business. And I was starting to lose some of the people that started with me. And dude, that's super painful, man.
That
like people
is one
you
of the
love.
most painful things ever, especially because when you first start out, anyone watching this who's ever started a business, who are the first people you talk to about it? Normally you don't go to these multi-millionaires or whatever. You're not able to connect with them, right? Yeah. You're connecting with your friends and family, and you're doing something together. And whether they stay on the path long-term or not, I think every entrepreneur has experienced that in some way. And you're right. That's some of the most painful shit you'll ever go through, right?
But he explains how it's super similar. Like those people relate to Marines. Like they're willing to come in and deal with the chaos. But as the business gets built out and the systems and processes are in place, they're not great at it. And dude, that's me. I'm not great at like, oh, let's have our weekly meeting with EOS and talk for 90 minutes. That's just not my personality. Like, dude, when I see freaking meeting every week and we're going to talk about the same thing half the time, I'm like, dude, I'm not wasting my life on that.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I want to go do something, hop on a podcast, do a training, hang out with my kid, whatever.
Right.
So like there's different types of people and knowing how to handle that and try to make it okay with everyone and structure your business in that way is super important. But that makes it really tough when you start to lose people that you started with. Yeah. But you know Travis Chappell with Guestio?
No, man. You got all these names I need to get to know, man.
Huge podcast, one of the top podcasts. I'll connect you with him after this.
That'd be awesome.
He's interviewed some studs, been doing it for a long time, and he's got this platform called Guestio. And so basically it's like Cameo. If you know Cameo, where you can go there and book celebrities, you can go to Guestio and book people for your podcast. So like you go on there right now and book Manny Pacquiao for your podcast.
Wait, what?
Yeah, dude. You have to check it out. So
wait. I'm sorry. You just said like he has like a thing that can help get like book.
Yeah. Like Guestio.com. You go to it. It's guest, like you spell guest, IO.com, Guestio.com. Okay. So like there's Manny Pacquiao. There's some huge names on there.
Well, shit.
Yeah, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah,
so,
no kidding.
So that's a cool one. Like I invested in that. And then I'm a partner in a software called RepCard. We talked about that a little bit. Yeah. It's like a sales tool for sales organizations. And that one's super cool. Like it's just a quick funnel builder for a sales rep in a field. Like they're not going to go back and no hate at all to ClickFunnels. You got the awards up there. I got an award up on my wall. Like I love ClickFunnels. I've been using it for years. I made millions of dollars with ClickFunnels. Right. But like a sales rep is not going to go back or quickly on their phone build out a funnel. No. But our app, RepCard, allows them to literally within, you saw it, less than 60 seconds, like less than 30 seconds, build a funnel specific to that buyer and send it to them. So just continue to invest in things like that and use, my relationships, my skills, strategy, whatever to help those things grow. Like that's what I'm most interested in. And then more than anything, man, is that leadership and legacy. When I look at my life, and I've been asking myself some really deep questions the last few months, like staying up late at night, whiteboard by myself, staring at the board, like not even writing anything yet, just in reflection, like what do I want to be remembered for? And these are some of these questions I've already answered, but it's like just continue to iterate and make sure that as I get older, I'm 30 years old now, man. We had a retreat last year, one of our free retreats. Old. Yeah, I know. Bro. It's killing me. I got some gray hair.
Yeah, I see that.
Dude, I don't care anything about birthdays. I'm one of those guys, like, if it's my birthday and I got to travel, dude, I don't think about that.
Really?
But when I turned 30, dude, that whole day I was like on the couch, like, dude.
Fuck.
My wife had like hundreds of people send a video, like saying what I meant to them, and so did like an hour freaking video or whatever. It was like so cool, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I might have had like some tears or whatever. Like, oh my God. But man, it's super cool. And I just want to continue to push down the path of building better leaders. About 3 years ago, I went through this stage where I was trying to figure out like what I wanted to be remembered for. Yeah. What crises did I want to solve in the world? And so I care a lot about like the water crisis. It's crazy to me. Like there's still 3.5 million or whatever people dying a year from unclean water. Dude, it's 2022.
Yeah.
And millions of people die from not having clean water in this world.
Yeah.
The father, I can't ever say this because it's so long, fatherlessness crisis with kids not having a father, underprivileged kids, veterans, like all those things have my heart. Yeah. And so I'm trying to figure out, it's like 3 years ago now, like what do I care most about? What am I going to hitch my wagon to and say, this is what I'm about. This is the problem I'm committed to solving while I'm here on earth. And I took like months to think through this, man. And I eventually just got to none of those things and leadership, because leadership can solve all of those things. You build better leaders, they're going to have the things they're passionate about, and then they start solving every one of those things. Yeah. And so I really dove into like John Maxwell and Craig Rochelle and like, dude, you know, to continue developing as a leader and eventually take the torch from those guys and really just focus on people and shifting their mindset from impact to income is so important to me. We had a retreat last year in April. It was called the Relentless Retreat is the one that it was. And so my word this year is relentless, because that retreat, we had a guy named Lex Wilbanks. He was 30 years old. I was 30 years old. He came. You could look up the video right now. You type in Relentless Retreat, roofing.com. You would see it on Facebook. You'd see our football game. Every free retreat, we go to a local field with a turf field. We play football with the teams. Sick. We split it up. Yeah, we have jerseys. We have jerseys. You should come out to one, man.
I would love to. That'd be fun.
We have jerseys split up.
I told you I play football.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. And so one of the guys was Lex Wilbanks. He was a quarterback for the other team. You'll literally see him running around completely healthy. 4 months later, dies of cancer.
Holy shit! Did he know? Like when
that retreat? Now
he didn't know that retreat.
4 months, man. Holy I mean, you can see the video. He's completely healthy. We have a tribute. Actually, if you type in Lex Wilbanks, roofing.com, that probably will come up first. We did like a tribute. I don't like telling this next part because it kind of spoils a little bit of our retreat, and I like for people to be surprised by it if they come. But I do an exercise at that retreat on day one where we take everybody to this cemetery, and it's in the middle of the mountains. Like, dude, when I say like it's creepy, like we pull up, people think we're gonna kill them. Like literally middle of nowhere, Tennessee. Right. And it's an old Civil War cemetery, so like all the headstones are pretty eroded.
Kind of like Remember the Titans kind of.
Yeah. It's and like sometimes, a lot of times it's in the mountains, so it'll be kind of drizzling, raining. I've done this a ton of times. Yeah. And so we have every man line up on a headstone, and I have them go through an exercise where they write their eulogy of who they want to be remembered as. Not who they are, not what their wife would say, their kid would say right now, what they want them to say. And, you know, I talked them through it of like, hey, you know, and I'm just saying some like hard stuff, man. And like most of these guys are breaking down crying because I'm like rough in their face. Like, do you want them to say you're the guy that never puts down the phone, the guy that never shows up to dance for the daughter, the guy that never shows up to the football game? Or do you want to be the dad that treated their mom with respect and love and care, and like just challenge them to really think about who they want to be? And so then at the end they come up and they one by one stand in front of all the men and they read it. And dude, I mean, just tears you know, most of the time. And so we have a video of Lex reading his eulogy. What would be 4 months later, he ends up passing away, man. And it's like I've had a couple of situations in my life, and I don't want to go too long. I don't want time constraint or whatever. You're all good. But that one, man, hit me really hard, and that was Relentless Retreat. So this year, Relentless is my word, you know, in honor of him. Like, I'm just going to give it everything I have this year. In 2015, right before I left the fire department, he wasn't my partner at the time. My old partner, Jordan Howard, was on his way to work, and he got hit head on by a guy running from the cops, and he passed away. That was a huge shift for me. He was 30 years old at the time. I was only like 24. It was 2015. And so he was 30 years old at the time. He had a brand new daughter, like 4 months old. She was born in May. It happened in September. Beautiful wife. And so just like a couple of these things, man, Jordan and Lex, and like, dude, I know their family and their other friends and people they led. Like, they'll continue to represent their legacy. Yeah. But if nothing else, I will. Like, I've made that commitment. Yeah. I will carry their legacy on, and I will, you know, live hard and go hard for them. Right. Because they meant a lot to me, and like seeing that just, man, impacted me in a really big way. And a lot of people, they look at death and they're like, you know, it breaks them and it's sad. And I've seen it so many times. Like even people in my family, it drives me nuts. Like, oh, here we go again, another death in the family, poor us. And it's like, dude, it happens. It's life. Right. It is. You got an expiration date. I'm about to drop a book called Make It Count in the next like 3 months. Make It Count. All right, make sure you send me a copy. Send me the link. I'll buy it. Up there, man. And put it up there. Yeah, but it's literally like ensuring when your life expires that your legacy lives on. Because, dude, our life has an expiration date. And that sounds corny, bro, but true. It is true, man. And
the second you realize that, the second you value every fucking minute of your day,
every day, every week, every month, every year. Yeah, dude, like, but your legacy doesn't have to die. Yeah. Like, you think about the greats. you think about the greats, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Kobe Bryant, bro, is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Like Kobe Bryant, how many people talk about him daily?
Yeah.
This was huge for me. You've made it when you go around and you ask a room of 10 people and like at least 8 or 9 can tell you where they were when Kobe died.
Yeah.
Dude, I know exactly where I was when Kobe died.
Yeah.
Do you know where you were?
I was literally in the gym.
I hope I didn't ruin it. He's like, no, I don't know where I was. Ruined my point.
No, I was actually in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I found and I got the notification on my phone.
It's like,
I actually remember like a bunch of people, like it went up on the news and everyone was like,
no
way.
Like you didn't even believe it.
Yeah.
Like literally we were running over, we were playing flag football in my little hometown, like 20 of us. First guy got over the bench for halftime, we were water break. He's like, Kobe Bryant's dead. And we're all like, no way. We all go sprinting over to our phones, ESPN. We're like, no way, dude.
Yeah.
And like, it just changed the day for everybody. It's like somebody like that, you just.
When the world stops.
Dude, man, you see how much work they put in, how much good they do to give back. It's just, dude, I want that to be my legacy.
Yeah.
Not that I need it for name recognition, but impact. How many people am I going to touch that are never going to know my name?
Yeah.
They're never going to see my face. I'm never going to see their face. I'm never going to get a thank you card, but I touched them in some way. And dude, I love through our mastermind. I get probably a message a week or something from like our event, like our bigger event, but like our mastermind, our retreats, I get messages all the time of people saying like, hey, I want you to see this, this screenshot of our salesperson that was able to buy a house because we led them in a way that you taught us how to lead them or whatever. Just seeing the situation. And obviously I always respond with like, hey, you did the work. We just kind of showed you the way.
Right.
They did the work. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, like, dude, it feels amazing.
Of course.
It makes the work, it makes the time away from my son being in Salt Lake City worth it.
That's the fulfillment that every man wants.
Absolutely, man. So
dude, dude, what you're saying right here, like, because obviously I'm a huge believer in freedom, right? I love this country with all my heart, right? Like, that's how I was raised, right? Yep. And I've always asked myself, why does mankind, why have we always craved freedom? And I came to a realization not too long ago that's because we as human beings are derived and our life revolves around purpose. And you cannot find your purpose. You cannot have purpose in life without freedom. Yeah. Right. And when we are driven by purpose, God put us here to do something, right? Not to just sit on the fucking couch and mold away. Right. Yeah. He put us here to do something. We have a purpose. There's something we can do. You can affect people that I can't, and I can affect people that you can't. You have a legacy that will be different than mine, but the fact of the matter is, as long as you live up to your legacy, is how many people you can change, right? And so I love, dude, you're giving me chills talking about this because this is what I dream of. This is the message of my business. I want to be more than just about like making money and infinite banking, even though that's just a great way to live your life and create freedom. Yeah. It's the vehicle, but there's a message behind it. There's people out there who need your help. And if you settle for less than what you can be, not only are you failing yourself, but you're failing every single one of them along the way that you could have helped. Yeah. Right. And I know God will hold us accountable for that one day. Right. Yeah. That's the vision. That's the goal. And I love what you're doing. And if I'm completely honest with you, I can't wait for people to, like talk about Hunter in a way that's different than just roofing. Yeah. Because right now, the way I've been introduced to you is roofing, right? RoofCon. But now I'm sitting here thinking, dude, I can't wait for people to be like, oh yeah, Hunter, the guy who does this. Right. Because roofing, you'll always be known in some way for roofing. You've definitely left a legacy there, right? Yeah. But I'm hearing you speak. I'm like, I can't wait to see how you blow that shit up, right? Yeah. The kind of legacy you leave there, because that's what we need. That's the idea of alpha influence. We need more men like you. We need people with that kind of courage to stand up, because if we don't, then the only way for evil to triumph for this world is for good men to do nothing. Yeah. That choice to settle is nothing. That's why the whole motto of be great or be nothing is that settling for average is doing nothing. And you're allowing evil to conquer because you're not doing anything.
Yeah, man, I love that conversation in itself. Like, dude, there is so much evil out there. There's so many bad guys. I mean, I posted about it and got a lot of hate for it like 2 months ago. Like, I'm to the point in my life where I think maybe there's more bad guys than good guys.
It feels that way.
They just outnumber us, and we got to do a better job of leverage and putting in the work to make a difference. And it might not even be bad people, but people that aren't doing good work. Yeah. Like if you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix and you're not trying to do good work and change lives, you're not helping anybody.
I don't consider that a good person. Right. What good are you doing? And the average life is the most selfish life you ever live, because you choose your own security over what you could have helped somebody else, right? Sitting on, like, just taking care of you, and rather than taking the risk and putting yourself through that anxiety, that pain, you know, everything you just described, what you'll experience. If you put yourself through that for a cause, that's what greatness is, right? That's what the legacy derives from. Yeah. That's what it's all about, right?
We've talked about sacrifice, the word sacrifice several times, dude. I think about it all the time. And nobody likes to think about that when it comes to time with family.
Yes.
You're like, oh, no, that's selfish. And, oh, you know, family first. And I do everything I do for my family. And, like, man, people might not like this a lot of times when I say it, but I say it all the time. When I speak at events, podcasts, the retreats we do, dude, yes, you do what you do for your family. Yes, they're your why. You love them, but dude, they're your responsibility.
Yes.
You got married. You had kids. You got to do it anyways, right? Like, what else can you do outside of that? Right. Because at the end of the day, you say you go bust your butt to make money for your family. Yeah. At the end of the day, man, a couple $1 million in the bank, $10 million in the bank, they don't need any more than that. Right. Eventually, if you don't have a why that's bigger than your family, your wife is not going to want you to keep working. Right. Like, she can have everything she wants with the money. Right. So, like, to me, I have this theory that I built out a couple years ago, and it's hard to explain on a podcast without a whiteboard, but I'll do my best. It's like this seesaw. Yeah. You have this seesaw or balance, if you want to call it a balance, for work-life balance. People talk about work-life balance. You have work on one side, you got life on the other side. Life meaning family, time with family, and work meaning time at business, at doing work. Right. And your pivot point naturally is in the middle, right? For it to be balanced. Right. That thing doesn't have to be in the middle. To me, first off, your true belief in your why matters. Number one. Yep. Is it impact or is it income? You got to gut check and ask yourself that. Is it impact or is it income? Yes. Secondly, if it is impact, this is huge, and most people don't get this. Does your wife believe that you care more about impact or income? Because if she thinks you're only doing it for income, she's not going to be cool with you traveling.
When she sees the income, she wants you to chill. Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So if she believes, like for me, man, my wife is great. She's supportive. She's willing to sacrifice. Yeah. On my pivot point, her understanding of my why is so close to work. I can load this side down with time and not have as much time at home because she gets it. Yeah. And dude, it is a sacrifice. There's, like, I start every retreat we do with saying, hey, thank you for being here. I know it's a sacrifice. Yeah. You're away from your family. You're away from your business. I start every retreat. You could ask hundreds of guys that. Yeah. I start every retreat like that because it is a sacrifice. Yes. I get that. Right. You don't want to be away from your family and doing what you love and da-da-da-da. Like, but it's a sacrifice because you believe in the greater cause, the mission. Right. If you actually believe in that.
Yeah, right. Well, dude, like, you know, it's funny because you're saying that. That's such a fantastic way to put it. You know what actually comes to mind when you say that is Steve Irwin. And what I mean by that, Steve Irwin and his family, their family legacy. I
wanted to be the crocodile hunter when I was little, bro. Like, I was out there catching lizards and chameleons.
But Steve Irwin, his family time, his family work-life balance is that their legacy is that as a family, they fought for this. And they were close, like how close they were, right? And what they're doing now, how his family continues the legacy after he's gone. That's what I dream of. I dream of my family legacy. Because, I could sit here and say, oh, I do it just for my family. You know what? Yeah. The best thing I'll ever teach my sons and daughters is to go out and fight for what they believe in. And our family legacy is we will go out and fight. We will be willing to put up an effort to help other people. If there's a family legacy, I want my family doing this with me. I've talked to my wife all the time. You know, sometimes I'm going to have to travel without her, but at the same time, I want her there with me. And guess what? I want the kids with us. Yeah. I want them to see this. I want them to be a part of this. I want this to be a family legacy that we as a family, this is what we do. We fight for this. Maybe my kids go off in different directions with it. Awesome. But at the end of the day, that is the work-life balance, is that we do it together as a family. And there's nothing better I want my kids to see, and I want them to like actually feel, is that their father stood up for something. Right? Not that he just was home all the time. Honestly, we're probably not going to be home a lot. We're going to be out doing stuff together. That's my goal. That's my vision. I want my family to be a part of it. And the work-life balance, well, if it's something more than income, then it's a bigger purpose, then you should rally your family behind that. I do what you're saying is like, I love that because
dude, it's spot on. Like I go back to Fulfillment 50. If you look at my Fulfillment 50 that I filled out that I talked about earlier, like two of the things on there, reasons is one of them is for Turner to lead billions. For me, I wrap my life mission statement up into a short sentence that I want to develop millions of leaders who impact billions of lives. And then one of my reasons for Turner is for him to be able to impact billions of people. For me, man, I want to lead and teach, not just give. I want to lead and teach, not just give. Like too many people are like, just throw $1,000 at it. I'll help this organization out. Nah, man, that doesn't do it. Like you got to teach people how to lead. You got to teach people to do what you do. And so for me, man, like that, it happens all the time. I'm sure it happens to you too. Like, you know, your kid's gonna take over the business. Your kid's gonna take over all the time. On the way here, bro. One of the tasks for Fearless 44. We're doing this big group now. We're actually doing a documentary for Fearless 44.
Awesome.
And so we have this big group doing it. Everybody's got like Osmos DJI cameras recording themselves. And so Scroll and Dial is once a day. You go through your phone. You can pick someone you haven't talked to in a long time if you have someone in mind. But if not, you just do it like Wheel of Fortune. You just scroll a couple times, let it come to a rest, and you pick someone on the screen. Well, today was my old lieutenant at the fire department. And so I called him up. Lieutenant Hunt's his name. And I'm talking to him. He's an awesome guy. I love him to death. He freaking led me well, taught me a ton of stuff. But he said, hey, Turner ready to take over that business yet? And just like I always say, Turner ain't taking over nothing unless he earns it. He's got to get in line and he's got to work his way up. Like I respect those guys so much in business. They're like, nope, not just. And again, I hate to. I'm not bashing anyone who just hands it over to their family if they're qualified. But I know people, and I'm not going to say names because it'd be too specific. But I know some big names that have big businesses, and like, no, I'm not giving it to my kids. Like if they earn it, yes, they can take over. But for me, like I have to do a good enough job of leading and teaching him well for him to be able to do that. Not just expect him just because he's got my last name, he's got my blood to take over. Like he's got to be passionate about it. It's the best man for the job because the best man for the job is going to reach the most people. I love that, dude.
Dude, I love it, man. Dude, we've been some fire on this. And that's why I told you at the beginning, I don't love this because when we just talk, when we vibe and our souls connect on the purpose of what we want to talk about, the best kind of content comes out from it, man. If there's one thing you want to leave our audience with, what would it be? Yeah,
man. I think that if you're most of your audience is like entrepreneurs, right? Like building businesses. Right. So I think something that's so important, two things, and I'll tie them together, is, you know, you have to build a team. Like riding solo is tough. Like it gets lonely fast. You're not going to be able to make the impact you want to make. So building a team is so important. Number one, building a common mission for your team to rally around. So what is something that your team can rally around outside of their commission check or the revenue of the company? For us, like at Cornerstone, we had Cornerstone. It was Cornerstone Kids. We built out a nonprofit that gave money back to underprivileged kids, whether the house burnt down. When COVID hit, we sponsored 12 proms. We paid for 12 different proms. We throw events called Cornerstone Kids events where we bring kids in, underprivileged kids that don't have parents, and we'll teach them how to change a tire, change the oil. We'll teach them about fitness, addiction, leadership, how to balance a bank account, like just basic stuff that a lot of those kids don't learn in school. And so what is a common mission for you? What is something you're passionate about? As the leader, you know, you can obviously have some sway, have some pull, but don't just make it about what you care about. Like use the team, leverage the team, ask them what they care about, and create a common mission that you guys can rally behind. You don't have to start a nonprofit like we did. You can find something that you're passionate about. You know, and find that, rally the team around it, and they'll be willing to go extra hard when they see the payoff for the people that you've helped. And then secondly, set them up for success. You know, if you have a sales team, set them up for success. So for like my sales team, we built out a sales training platform, and then we would buy everybody's sales training. So like we had Sam Taggart, we had Becca Swiss, we had Dale Children, we had everybody's stuff, and then we put it in this platform along with our stuff to teach about how we use our CRM, how to generate leads, how to do yada, everything you could imagine. But we set them up for success. We would give them the tools, the training, the technology to make six figures. They just had to bring the work ethic. So set your team up for success. If you do that, you're going to win.
I love that. Wow, dude. Well, okay, if there's best place for people to get a hold of you right now, like on Instagram, or what's the best place people can reach you?
Instagram. You can go to hunterballew.com and find everything. We're going to drop the book. I'll probably do a bunch of copies for free at first, and that'll be out hopefully in the next 3 months. We'll see how long it takes them to publish it, but man, I'm super excited about it.
Well, we'll make sure to link all that. So Hunter Ballew on Instagram. Also, that website you told us about, is fearless44.com.
Yeah, fearless44.com.
Fearless44.com. Make sure you guys go check that out. Well, again, we'll link all this down below. Go check this guy out because as you've heard in this episode, there's a lot more coming our way from you. And I'm really excited about it, man. So, dude, it's a pleasure to get to know you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the board.
Appreciate it.